Here.
Goodson. Here. Gould. Here. Howard. Mayor. Weigel. Wilhelmie.
Here.
Winfrey. Here. And Brooks.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Stand for pledge of allegiance. Mr. Gould, would you please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. Moved by Winfrey. Is there a second? Okay, Mr. Bible. All in favor?
Aye.
No? Ayes have it. Anybody sign up for public comments? Nobody? All right. Old business, number 1, update on Midwest acquisition. Nick Palmer, come on down.
No, I don't have to. That's a show. Okay.
Morning. The first 3 items on the agenda, we just want to keep them on the agenda because they are continuing to move forward, and we just want to keep you informed of the progress. I'll start with First Midwest acquisition. This is something that the county board has previously authorized the county executive to negotiate a contract. We've had several updates in executive session, so I'm not going to go into all the details because we don't have a deal yet, but we're very close. But this is, as all of you know, part of the White study. This was the footprint for the courthouse, or the proposed footprint for the courthouse. We've been negotiating with First Midwest, and we had appraisals done and a review of the building done previously, and so that's all being used in our negotiations. The one detail I think I can say is we're looking at the price, and because of staging, First Midwest will be able to clear out the upper floors quicker than the first floor, which is where their bank operation is. There's a separate entrance. And so when we purchase the building, the upper floors will be, our intent, and with the board's concurrence on this, our thought was we would use those upper floors in a temporary fashion to stage county operations per the Capital Improvements Committee. And the first floor, we will work on a deal and hopefully reduce the price, the sale price lower, or collect rent, because they won't be able to get out of there immediately upon closing. But the target goal is to possibly come back as early as next month with a deal with the expected closing in the 4th quarter of this year. So that is kind of the plan if all goes smoothly. But we are negotiating directly with First Midwest, but First Midwest has worked with the City of Joliet on where they relocate to ultimately, and that's part of the holdup. So we are excited to move forward. So that's just the update. For any questions I can answer.
Questions on First Midwest? All right. Number 2, Social Security building.
Social Security Administration is also a project we've been working on for a while. This is also, the county board authorized the executive's office to negotiate on this quite a while ago. We ran into a little bit of a hiccup with the review of the building. There was some concern over previous occupants of that facility. There was a dry cleaners, there was an auto mechanic, or I think it was last year, we asked and received approval to conduct a further environmental study because there had been a no further remediation process begun on this property and it was never closed out, so that raised a question mark. So we've done that study. Nothing out of the ordinary was found, as I reported to you before. That has to go through the IEPA, and there was a process on that. Over the last week or so, I've been getting regular updates from the attorney, and the date keeps coming closer instead of going further, which is a good thing. We thought we were looking at September, possibly October. Now we're looking at possibly the closing of August 1st or thereabouts. So we're right around the corner. The board has previously approved that deal, so we don't need any further action, but we are very, very close to closing on that property. And one positive that came out of the IPA's review is they asked the owner to do some additional cleanup on the site. If you go by there now, it's not that attractive. There's a lot of weeds and there's cracks in the pavement. They've asked them to clean some of that up as part of their review, so that's a benefit to us as a future owner. And so that was a positive, but also that, like I say, we've got several emails I've been sharing with board staff and the capital improvement chair that date is coming closer rather than further, which is good. That's not always the case. We're usually pushing some back. So we will close on that, and then we're going to proceed with identifying space utilization there and someone to do the build out, and we'll bring that all back to the board for future approval. So, any questions?
Social Security building? All right. Intergovernmental agreement with hospital.
This is another ongoing effort that I've been with the county for over 8 years, and we've been talking about space in downtown Joliet for a long time. We've made progress. The last two items are examples of that. I've talked about this, it's been talked about to other people in the media. We have the framework of a deal, trading certain county properties for city properties. I guess I can summarize them very quickly. We already traded parking lots, basically. We haven't officially traded the land, but we've traded parking lots east of the ADF for west of the ADF. We received an improved lot, a brand new lot, with more spaces than we started with, so that was a plus for the county. That's along the tracks there and west of the jail. The other trades the city's looking for is 121 North Chicago, opening up Chicago Street, and our parking lot east of the courthouse. We, in return, are looking for that replacement lot that we received, help with the right-of-way, no tap on fees, and potentially the Ottawa Street parking deck. So those are the framework. It's not a secret. It's been talked about a number of times. Not the best way to negotiate, but it's out there. But we're close on that, but there's some people have difference of opinion of how that all works out. So we're having another meeting today with the city of Joliet. And again, the executive's office, we would love to bring you an agreement in the next month, but I'm not sure that'll happen, but that's what we're pushing for, because we all know the city manager is leaving, and we would rather complete that while he's there, since he's been involved in a lot of this work. So we're optimistic that that can still happen, but everybody's got to work together on that, so we're hoping that can happen.
Question?
Will we eventually open up Chicago Street?
That's what the city of Joliet would like to do.
Okay.
They believe that's a part of their downtown plan.
What's the stand that the county has on that? Keep it closed. City Street. Am I right?
Depends who you talk to.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a Joliet road, street.
Well, it's I believe years ago it was a street, but it was closed, and the county controls that property, so whether we can include that in the deal.
Well, we just, when I moved to Joliet, it was a drag race through there before they closed it off.
The old jail was right there.
Yeah.
What was that, Model T?
Yeah. Let's move on. Okay. Any other questions for Nick? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
One more? Okay.
A new business.
Oh, wait, before you go to new business, I have another old business. Committee Chair Denise Winfrey had asked for an update from the Health Department and asked Mel Rule to give us a little update. Did you want to say anything about that, Denise?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Speaker Brooks. What I'd ask for is the Capital Improvements Committee had issued a resolution directing the Public Buildings Commission to do the ancillary work that goes with the re-roofing project at the Health Department. And to the best of my knowledge, that had not gone forward. So I've asked Mel to come and explain to us what's going on there, when we can expect to see that.
All right. Mel, come on down. Sure.
Yeah, well, the health department thing is moving forward. There was a little confusion. Initially, we went out for open bids, and the numbers came in quite high. And I was of the opinion that for an open bid, that was a little too much, so we needed to bid it and spec it. And I did not feel I had authorization to do that via the resolution. And I also had some funding concerns. The funding concerns have been resolved. And now I understand that based on that resolution, we do have the authority to hire an architect and go forward with that process. I'm meeting with the architect this afternoon to look at the job. I think what we may do is a little more investigation in that what the open bid had looked at. There could be some permeation problems from underneath that's causing some of the tile to come up. As you know, most of this is a result of roof leaks. The roof leaks have been resolved, at least in this section we're working on. So we will move forward with an architect to bid it and spec it. It shouldn't take us too long. We can get it on the street probably in the next 6 weeks, and we can get it done probably yet this year. There's I'm anticipating that the total cost will be upwards of $80,000. So it is moving forward as of today.
So this resolution was issued in April, Mel, so you're saying an additional 6 weeks before we see any progress on this?
Well, it was issued in April. I didn't get any open bids from the health department until somewhere around the end of May. They were sent over to the county executive's office, and John and I never did hear back on what we should do. I was the one that brought up the issue that it was too large to go on an open bid, and that we should be on a post-bid process. So it was kind of stuck in limbo there for about a month, Denise, but it's moving forward.
Okay, so 6 weeks from today, you expect to see some progress on this?
Say that again, please?
You're expecting to see some progress on this in the next 6 weeks?
Yes.
Because I just want you to know, Mel, I'm going to be marking that date on the calendar, and I'm going to be looking for
Well,
it.
you know, obviously, Denise, when you go out to bidding, there are some issues that we got to go through, and, you know, there are sometimes some time problems with that, but we will move forward as expeditiously as we do on any other project.
And if there's some problems along the way, you'll be notifying me.
I will notify you.
Or I have to call you.
No, unfortunately, I thought this thing was being processed over here. I just didn't think I had the authority to proceed with that, because the intent was that the health department would get some open bids and we would assist them. Now that we're going to bid it, spec it, we have the ball, and we will in fact manage the project.
All right.
And we will, you know, do weekly inspections just as we normally do on the end of the project. Okay, so it's no longer an open bid issue.
All right.
Okay?
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
You know, initially, this was still a health department project. The health department staff was going to get bids. They were actually going to supervise it, and the Public Building Commission was going to give some oversight and assistance to the health department. That was the original intent. Just so everyone knows, the original intent was not for the Public Building Commission to do the project.
But
It was
that is now
it was a
changed.
health department project.
Yes. But it's
And
now
that's what,
our project.
that's how it initially started. Now, if it went into something else, that's kind of another issue. But I do think that we should point out that if the board now wants the Public Building Commission to actually do the entire project, you know, that they can do that. Or is the health department still going to do the project, the oversight from some, the systems from the Public Building Commission?
Yeah, we will not do the bidding, the specking, any oversight. And I think it was necessary to respect it, because in open bids, you may not get apples and apples, various products, various tiles, various wall coverings, various things like that. So, and the numbers fluctuated. There was also some concrete numbers in there that scared a lot of contractors. They had bid as high as $15,000. We've had a contractor that did some work at Sunny Hill on a very similar issue, and I think we can utilize him and take that out of the rest of the stuff, do the concrete work as a separate issue.
I guess my real question, and let me rephrase it, is the intent of the board to give this project now to the Public Building Commission? Or is it remain the initial intent that the health department maintenance staff was going to have direct supervision of this project?
Let me have Nick Palmer.
Yes.
Mr. Russos, you are correct. This started with the health department. That PVC had done some work on the roof at health department, which solved the dripping issue, which caused the damage. And initially, we thought, the health department's maintenance staff thought, they got some preliminary bids, the cost was going to be less. But at no point did we want to, you know, circumvent procurement or anything like that. But at the committee, at capital improvements, I don't have the resolution in front of me, but that was discussed, whether maintenance staff do it or whether PVC get involved. And I believe, and my memory may fail me, at the committee, we discussed that, and it was decided that PVC would be put in charge of it, not that, because it could be more substantial. And that's what the resolution, again, I don't have it in front of me, it was worded, said PVC would take this project and fund it, because there was a concern at that point about funding, and the finance director was asked, is there funding, and that was understanding. So there has been no communication since then. So, and historically, this board, I think, has directed the PVC to do projects. PVC does other projects too.
Sure.
That aren't directed by the county board, but that was what the direction was. So I'm not sure.
I think my point is the discussion was initially that the health department was going to do the project.
Initially.
And the public building commission was going to have some, help them and have help them, basically.
I mean,
That was initially, but we moved
Nick,
from
that
that
issue never
place,
tripped
as
out.
Nick said. I didn't bring my resolution with me either, but we did move from that place to the public building.
and there was consideration at the committee that this was deemed an emergency. It said in the resolution, emergency, which gives us some relief on procurement. And it wasn't an emergency like the building was going to fall down, but there was tripping possibility, the roof was caving in some way. So that's why we wanted an expedited fashion, and it was called, deemed an emergency. It said it in the resolution, but the resolution was, I thought, was pretty clear. It said Public Building Commission would take this project and fund it. So I don't know where the ambiguity was, but.
I don't either, but so that we're clear from this point on, the Public Building Commission will take this project, will manage this project, will do the work, and report back.
I'm prepared for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Mel.
Okay, thank you.
Now, let's move to new business. Number one, Nick Palmer, request to approve the 2013 DAG allocation authorization and all that.
I'll preface my comments by saying this is not the way we would like to do these, but unfortunately, sometimes with the JAG grants, those who've been around, this is how it happens. You received in your packet a copy of the solicitation, which describes the program and also the allocations. I'll give you a quick overview and then tell you how we're proposing to spend the money. This is a program, this annual program. It's formula-based. If you need more information on how the formula is reached, I can kind of help you try to decipher, but it's pretty complicated. But we're a disparate partner, which means City of Joliet and the county partner together. We each get our own allocation. It's a lump sum dollar amount. And this year's lump sum is $60,858. For probably the past 6 or 7 years, we've split that evenly, even though Joliet gets a larger portion of that $60,000. Former Judicial Chair Andrea and I negotiated with former City Manager Tom Ezra to do 50-50, and so we've been getting 50-50 split, which we thought was fair for the county because we serve all the City of Joliet inmates, etc. So over the past several years, I also gave you a memo. I was on the desk. Hopefully you picked that up, but that gave you a little bit more of the breakdown of what the program is and also previous funding. We've spent a considerable amount of money over the past several awards on in-car cameras for the sheriff. We've done I-wins for the sheriff. We've spent some money on administrative education to fund the software and licensing. And way back when we funded the HEART organization, which is a Bolingbrook organization that helps at-risk youth. So we've done a variety of things. There's a variety of options. There's some things you can't buy, luxury items, food, stuff like that, but programmatic stuff related to the criminal justice sector. So in that packet that I gave you today, and I apologize you're just getting it today, but this was all coming together kind of at the last minute. There's Joliet's portion and our portion. Joliet is spending their money on automated license plate readers. The county is proposing spending our money to support our heroin prevention programs. We have been working with the Robert Crown Center out of Hinsdale, a lot of the elected officials here, the health department, on heroin prevention program. I think all of you are well aware of the need to fight the heroin problem. The deaths related to heroin were 53 deaths in 2012, which exceeded traffic deaths for young people. So this is a public health issue, but it's also a criminal justice element too. So we believe this is a good program. We're proposing that this money be granted to Robert Crown to run a pilot program in the Bolingbrook-Romeoville School District 365U. They've already expressed a willingness to participate in this program. It will be an education program, proactive, so I educate students and parents in the community about the dangers of heroin. It's going to be reviewed afterward boards by Loyola University, at least that's the proposal by Robert Crown to evaluate the program, so we'll have good data. And if there's a successful program, then it can be rolled out in other schools throughout the county, hence the pilot program. And this connects with our annual heroin prevention forum we've done the last 2 years. As the federal agenda, we went and met with the U.S. National Drug Control Policy. They were very interested. They didn't come last year. This year they sent their deputy director to our heroin forum because they see it as a problem also. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what we're spending the money on. The application involves a narrative, a budget, an MOU with the city of Joliet that says we're accepting the money. This year the county's acting as a fiscal agent, so we will receive the money, distribute Joliet's their half of the money, get our half of the money, and then do all the reporting. And so what I need from you today is ratifying the MOU, which we had to do already, to meet the deadline. And we've submitted the application. We can alter it if need be. The Department of Justice may come back and ask us to make some modifications to the grant. Our practice here historically has been if there's an application deadline that doesn't coincide with county board meetings, we submit the application and come back to the board for ratification. Again, I would rather not do it. I'd rather come to you beforehand, but the time didn't allow for that. And the last piece is this is out for a 30-day review, so in addition to you getting this today, it's now on the county's website. We will have a public hearing at the Judicial Committee in August for any public comments, but from now until then, the public is invited to submit comments, and we can modify as needed, so that's a quick review.
What, before we do that?
If I could just point out, in the intergovernmental agreement, it looks like the year was inadvertently left out. So if we could amend it to add the year,
All right, okay. Now, ready for action? Did someone make, who was that made the motion? Steve? All right. Who seconded? Wally? All right. All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
No? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Nick, who initiates that grant? Is it the county or the city of Joliet? Who initiates
As far as
We
we've
do?
been initiating it.
The
As far as
start.
the application.
the application?
It's been a joint effort the last
Over
several years.
20
The last, probably last 5 years, City of Joliet has acted as a fiscal agent.
Okay.
Prior to that, we had done it, but this year we're taking that back. So there was a hold up on we just received our 2012 money just this last week.
And the last question very quickly, when is this grant, when's the fiscal year for this grant? Every year we get this,
Every year.
and when is that?
Somewhere around this time, we have the application process, but the receipt of money can be a year behind. This, actually, the grant began October 1st, 2012, but they're just doing the applications now, so I think that may be tied to the federal budget, so we're cut some questions.
All right, thank you. All right, number 2, request for a resolution to support X-Line Generation Braidwood Plant Life Renewal. Scott Hubbard, and you do have that in your packet. All right, it has been moved and second. All in favor? No? Ayes have it. Thank you, Scott. Okay. Number 3, request to ratify acceptance of manufacturing training grant for Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities, Pat Farah.
Second.
Okay. She needs to just, yeah, 1 minute.
This is a manufacturing grant that we applied for on behalf of 5 workforce boards in the metro region. The State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity is awarding this grant. They have been very late in processing paperwork, so we just got the final executed grant last Friday, and on Monday we got approval for the implementation plan and final budget, which I passed out a summary of the project, and then in the implementation plan and budget, what that included were 5 subcontracts, 1 to each of the workforce areas for the work they'll be doing around this manufacturing training, 3 professional services contracts. We did build in money for county fiscal staff. Since we are holding this grant, we decided we're no longer going to do that kind of stuff in kind, so we asked for funds to do that. And then we're also going to have training providers who will be on an approved list for training programs. All of those And you have also a list of the partners in this project, which include economic development, manufacturing associations, and employers. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I just wanted to clarify, we just got that approved, the plan and budget approved on Monday.
That was kind of a short notice, we had to move quickly.
Right, right. I mean, we applied back in March for this grant, it's just taken this long time.
Can I just have one quick question? The resolution simply ratifying the acceptance and the execution of the grant. You need me to mention the partnerships with the contracts that the Workforce Development Board is going to award, or should I just wait for your updates in August?
You know, the actual executed contract says that the implementation plan is the scope of work is the implementation plan approved by the Department of Commerce, and all of those activities are in that implementation plan and budget, so we can include that final implementation plan in the grant document that goes to the county board, if that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with however you want to do it.
We'll include the documentation, but I'll only ratify the acceptance and execution, and then you can update us in August?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Steve?
So is this a place where the employers can send their people to you to be trained, or do they apply for training within their own plan, or how does it work?
This is to train people who will then go to work in manufacturing employers. So it's people who may be looking for work, will go through some manufacturing training. The grant also includes paid internships, and then we'll place those people with manufacturing employers. The one thing that I think the Three Rivers Manufacturers Association suggested is that we prepare a card for employers that as they get candidates who may not be qualified for their current positions, they could give them a card and refer them back to the program for potential hire later in the process.
So that's what I was going to ask. So how do the individuals find out about this training?
We'll do some pretty heavy marketing, and then we'll also use employers.
Okay.
And that's why we had our economic development groups, John Grueling from the CED and Jerry Camano from Three Rivers Manufacturers Association are our two big partners here in Will County.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, there was a motion. There was second? Okay, it's been moved and second, all in favor? No? The ayes have it. Thank you, Pat. Number 4, initial discussion regarding the RFQ for the consulting and engineering services to develop detailed RFP to replace current radio system, ASB. All right.
Mr. Chairman, while it's coming down,
Come on down here.
I would like to make comment on this. You know, I was in office when we did the last radio system, and we did have a outside committee, a radio committee, that did not include, or included a person from the county boards.
One person?
One person. You know, I'm going to suggest that, you know, there should be an ad hoc committee, a county board ad hoc committee with other members of the users of the system. But I do believe this should be a county board effort, and it should be an ad hoc committee of the county board. I'm one who was not necessarily happy with how it went, whatever it was, 15 years ago, 16 years ago. 16 years ago. And I do think this should be a county board initiative and not a committee of the emergency management people or the, so even though I think they should be heavily involved. You're talking probably, and I'm just going to throw out a broad range of dollars here. We could be talking at $10 to $20 million.
Frankly, we hope less because of the competitive nature of the new technology. There's new vendors out there that are making the, shall we say, old vendors.
I do know there's other
very
systems.
price conscious.
There's other systems, but,
Right.
but probably, I do think it's still going to be at least 10 million. Or do you think it would be?
I would say you're probably in the area.
Yeah, so we're talking about something that really, in my opinion, this is a capital purchase. It should be perhaps like an ad hoc committee, or it should be capital improvement committee effort. They should be where kids are in the RFQ. They should be on board. I do think an ad hoc committee is better because we bring in the users of the system too. But perhaps Ms. Winfrey, not that I'm volunteering to do this, but maybe Ms. Winfrey chairing that committee as the capital improvements committee chair. So I just want to say there's a lot of dollars involved here. This is something that the county board, it should be a county board initiative, and we should be heavily involved in it. So, not that I want to start putting this RFQ out, because that is just a request for qualifications, but then that's also come back to the county board.
Would this hinder the RFQ going out if we were to go back?
Not necessarily, because we would ask the professional folks and technical people to put the RFQ together. So as you start interviewing companies about their qualifications, it should be an interview of a county board committee, along with others. I'm not
Like you said, the professionals.
the professionals, make some of the executive's office, because we usually do include the executive's office always on those committees. And because, let me take the mid-range. I do think you could wind up, maybe 20 is a little on the high side, but you're going to look at about $10 to $15 million. It's complex. There's a lot of issues. I didn't think last time personally we got the best product. Turns out it wasn't 2000 compliant. We had all kinds of dead zones that we had to address. We had to put additional towers in to correct that, or at least a additional tower, I think. So it's very technical, but it's also a lot of dollars. And it's not so technical that you won't understand.
If I can have Ed do his work, because I do want to come back to Bruce Springfield and ask his opinion on that as well, because in part I do agree, but I want to hear what Ed has to say as well.
Thank you. Very short. Actually, I wanted to have a PowerPoint presentation, but in view of the 31 items on the agenda, I don't think it'd be very practical. Jim summed some of the important points up. Our system right now is 16 years old. The useful life of a complex radio system that we have would be about 10 to 12 years. We've got 1,700 users on the system, 24 agencies/departments. Last year, we had 5.5 million calls. So initially, we had some issues, as Jim pointed out, but we got it tweaked and it's working well. The problem is, as old as the system is, to get replacement parts for both portable and mobile radios, as well as the infrastructure, is becoming more and more difficult. We really need to look hard at this and have a long-term and short-term plan. This is why I would like to see us retain a qualified radio communications consultant to develop a detailed RFP and get that out on the street, and then we'll know the exact number, because we can just speculate now. And I do want to point out that it is really competitive out there. If you look at some of the bids that have been going out, monitored on the internet. I've been monitoring our counterpart, Lake County, Illinois, and they're going through the same thing. They're a little bit ahead of us. So we probably will be able to gain some knowledge of what ends up happening up there. I do have funding in my 2013 budget for this specific item to hire a consultant. So I would hope that we could move this along and make the best use of the time.
Yeah. Mr. Gibbs?
I agree with you, Ed, but that consultant should be hired by the county board.
Oh, yes.
And that consultant, and those consultants who come forward, be interviewed by the county board.
I agree.
And even that part of the process, I believe, should be done by the capital improvements committee. From our perspective, it's a large capital expenditure. That's why it should be looked at by the capital. So I agree. Let's put out the RFQ. Let's get a consultant. that should be county board process, is my point. And certainly, you'd help to be on that committee, and you would certainly assist the Capital Improvements Committee, or if, Mr. Chairman, you and the chairman of the Capital Improvements would rather see an ad hoc committee that just addresses the radio system, which in many cases is a good idea, then we should go forward that way. But it should be the county board process, and the county board should be making those decisions. Unfortunately, last time, none of these decisions were made by the county board, except here it is, and approved, well, back then, I think it was more like 8 million.
5.3.
5.3 million. I actually was gonna say 5, but I couldn't, I forgot I had a little bit. Anyway,
Okay.
so at any rate, I'm talking about process and how we should go forward. I don't disagree with Mr. Bean here at all, and going on.
Okay, I have a question over here. Steve?
Just curious, the total cost is estimated to be around what again?
Well, Jim threw out a couple numbers there, and I think we could even do it for less, but we'll see. It's really competitive right now.
Where's the funding gonna come from for that?
We'll have to do the same thing we did in 1997, Jim.
Yes. Yeah.
What was that? What was that? You did. Some of us went around. I was
Well,
always
I can tell you then, when we accepted it, we still didn't have the money. It had to be determined, and eventually the county board did allocate about $5 million capital. But I can tell you, and this was part of my concern. Last time, they went through the entire process, selected a vendor, selected the system, the whole thing, and it still wasn't funded. Which kind of put the county board, I thought, in an awkward position. It was, in other words, I hate to put it this way, we were basically backed up into the corner and said, now you will fund it.
Okay.
So it's better that the county board is part of the process, so when we get to that point, we know that it's coming. So.
My point is, I guess, is, before we spend money on RFQ and even going out to bid, we should have an idea where our funding is gonna come from.
Well, Steve, if I can make.
Okay.
Steve, you know what, this is a long process, and, we're gonna be in a situation with this radio system, as we were like with the jail management system and so forth. And it was the same situation we were back in the 90s. There'll be no support for the system. In other words, we will not be able to continue this system. And my recollection is, this was about a 3-year process last time.
Yes.
It's a lengthy process. It's not a process that, you can start planning for funding.
In the process?
While
The
the process
quotes
is
are gonna be
going on.
held, the quotes will be held for that time period. I'm just saying, we go out and get a quote now to do this, is it gonna be good for a year, for 6 months,
Well,
for 3 years?
You're really not getting a quote. The consultant will help with a vendor. We'll talk about more of the technical side initially.
Okay. This is just,
And it takes a while. So to talk more about the technical side, the cost kind of comes in at the.
this is just to set up what our parameters are gonna be, and then it's up to us to decide when to release it for.
Actually, this consultant would help with the technical side.
That's what this is for.
Correct.
Okay, never mind, thanks.
And I might add, I didn't pull that $10 million out of the air. That was a researched, I don't doubt. So I want everybody to know, I didn't just pull it out of I threw it out, I doubled it just in case.
Well, let me do this. I wanted to ask Bruce Reedfield, because I do agree with you, Jim, that we should have, I don't want to use the word control, but some oversight and/or as a board involvement. So Bruce, I wanted to ask you this question about either ad hoc or a capital improvement committee. Would that be something that?
I think that either is appropriate. I think that decision should be made in consultation between you as speaker and Chair Winfrey. I mean, Improvements Committee has a lot on its agenda currently. On the other hand, there's no reason why they couldn't deal with this topic. As far as this issue is concerned, 16 years ago, actually, it started even before that. The system's 16 years old, but the process.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 20. I've known Ed now for about 20 years. I was involved with that earlier process. It is complicated, and County Board Member Mustis is absolutely correct. The problem last time is it was the stakeholders, I mean the users were pulling that train, and the county board got involved late, and also Joliet had already made a decision as to what system they were going to use, which was a different system entirely than what the county was going to use, and we could never come to an agreement so we could be consistent. I'm assuming that's changed.
Well, we have interoperability with Joliet, but just for your information, Joliet built their system after we did, and I'm thinking of the timing here. They have replaced their system last year already.
Yeah, okay.
And gives something to be said about, I think we made the right decision because we've got a lot of years on our system already.
But if you wanted a recommendation from me, my recommendation would be just assign it to the standard capital improvements. It's a capital project. When you start creating ad hoc committees, you're going to have more committees than you can manage. So
So that's the problem? Okay. So according to number 4 here, though, Ed, this is just discussion. There's no action that we need to take other than we decided the board to sign the capital improvement. Is that right?
And he's asking to go ahead with the RFQ.
Oh, okay.
But with that assignment, then those, as he puts out the RFQ, those people would then be brought to capital improvement for review.
Okay. So we'll sign the capital improvement, and do we have to vote for the okay. Okay. All right, so we need a motion? Move, second, all in favor?
Aye.
No? Ayes have it. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right. Denise will be, okay. All right. Number 5, Illinois 394 and Route 1 corridor study, Alicia, Hanlon. Come on down.
Good morning. I actually have 2 items to present to you this morning for informational purposes. The first is the Illinois 394 Route 1 corridor study, which you have in your packet, some information in your packet. And also, I would like to cover the Iliana corridor study, which was distributed as a handout to you this morning. Both of these are separate projects, but they do have some similarities. Both are opportunities to do integrated land use, transportation, economic development planning in key transportation corridors in the county with the county's participation. Both efforts are likely to get underway this year. They're both going to be funded by IDOT planning grants through the Department of Planning and Programming in Springfield. And both of them are going to require participation from the county in the local match. So starting with the 394 Route 1 corridor study, that is focusing on the corridor from I-80 down to the Will Kankakee County line. It does include parts of unincorporated Will County, as well as the villages of Crete and Beecher. Both of those towns have committed to participate, and it will also include some of the Cook County towns that have some authority, development authority along the corridor. This grant, I think the total amount is, I want to say $315,000. And that grant will come through the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. They will be doing all of the coordination, and the county will, be participating in that effort. I do have the Director of Transportation from South Suburban Mayors and Managers here to answer any questions, you may have on that. As I said, we're presenting this information to you early in the process to do the corridor planning, so that you have the opportunity to be aware of what's going on and to ask questions as necessary. I wanted to introduce Tom Vanderwood, who is the Director of Transportation for South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. He can provide you with a little more information on the study and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Alicia. Good morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here this morning. Alicia did a very good job of describing what the proposed study is about and where the funding is coming from. As she mentioned, it's a grant for $312,000 through IDOT, $250,000 of which is federal money, state planning and research dollars that they use for metropolitan planning. There's an additional $31,000 that's been provided by IDOT, so that's state funding. So they picked up, typically there's a 20% match requirement. IDOT has agreed to pick up half of that, which is 10% of the total grant. We've already been working with Cook County to secure half of the remaining 10%. So the amount that we would be ultimately requesting of Will County would be $15,625. That would be leveraged, like I said, against about $312,000. In general, this is going to be a consultant-driven project. We'll be managing it at the Mayors and Managers Association, which, as you probably know, is a council of governments representing 43 local municipalities, some of which are in Will County, southeast Will County, but most are in South Cook County. We intend to look at a 6-mile wide corridor extending from the Indiana state line on the east, west to the eastern edge of the South Suburban Airport. We believe that this is an especially timely study given the interest that's been shown by IDOT in particular in southeast Will County with the development of the airport moving forward, and the Ileana corridor moving forward as well. In general, this study is intended to address transportation, land use, and economic development. We have a scope that's been developed in coordination with the municipalities along the corridor, and I believe that's been provided by Alicia. That has been approved for funding by IDOT, as I've said, and at this point we're beginning work on an RFQ. We have participation in that process from the Village of Beecher and the Village of Crete. And so we intend to move forward, but again, we're approaching this body to get input and to ultimately give us some guidance as to where to go to secure some of this local matching funds.
Who do you work with?
I work for the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. So our office is in East Hazel Crest, and as I said, we represent 43 municipalities throughout South Cook and Southeast Will County.
Any questions for Tom? Jackie?
Hi. Does your organization have a website, and does it list its members?
We do. It's ssmma.org.
And your name again? I'm sorry.
Tom Vanderwood.
Vanderwood. Thank you.
And I should say that Beecher will probably not be listed as a member municipality. They just joined in June, so some of our letterhead and so on has not been updated to reflect that.
Tom Michael?
If the county's going to be involved, I think the land use staff should also be involved. Are they planning to be involved? Alicia, do you know?
I don't think that has been worked out entirely, but there will be coordination
from the county on the steering committee that would steer the process.
That's good suggestion. Judy?
Part of the order is in.
Put your mic down.
Oh, sorry. Part of the corridor for the Ileana, or not the Ileana, 394 Route 1 runs through unincorporated areas in Will County. Those areas are not represented by the Village of Crete or the Village of Beecher. I would like to have representation from Crete Township and Washington Township to be included in this. They have their own, they put together plans for the future, 10, 20 years in the future. I would like them to be part of this, is they are not represented by any municipality.
Well, I think that can be.
Yeah, I think it would be good, because I know that especially Route 1 coming down from Beecher is really something that we would like to have addressed. There's a lot of congestion on that road.
Music?
I just want to concur with Ms. Ocala, and that is, a lot of these roads, you represent municipalities, but much of these transportation systems are well outside the systems of municipal systems. And I know sometimes it may be a little difficult for townships to participate because there are limited resources, limited staff, but minimally, our county engineer or his representative should always be there. I know Alicia's there as a county representative, but it's our highway engineer that works closely with the township highway commissioners. So minimally, our county engineer or a representative of his staff should always be present. And additionally, our county engineer knows what our transportation plan is, to make sure that either we need to maybe relook at ours or convince others they need to look at theirs. So I would just make similar comments. If it's not a highway commissioner, our county engineer should absolutely be at that table.
Well, I certainly appreciate that comment, and the steering committee, as we kind of conceptualized it at this point, was two municipalities from the Cook County portion, two municipalities from the Will County portion. There are only two. A representative from Will County and a representative from Cook County. We've been working with Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways, so we've been working with their engineers already. And that's where we've been going to secure the county's participation, Cook County's participation. So, I have no problem altering that steering committee to fit whatever is, the priority of this body.
Well, I think you'll have a better product in the end if you include some of these folks who are responsible for their systems integrate with those roads. So I just think you'll have a much better study and end product.
Any other questions? Now, Alicia, this is just the discussion. Anything else? We don't have to take any action.
No, there's no action required today. We do anticipate coming back with more detailed information on both proposals next month, and at that time, there may be a need to request action on the board's part.
And taking into account the request on today, right?
Right.
All right.
Could I take a minute or two to discuss the Ileana Corridor Planning Grant as well? That information was just distributed to you today. We're not as far along on that project as we are, or as Salisbury mayors and managers is on the 394 Route 1 corridor study. But I did want the board to see that we were, beginning to organize for this. The executive's office has been granted a fairly large grant to do corridor planning in the Ileana corridor. It's a coordinated grant, so we will be working with the 4 municipalities with planning jurisdiction in the Ileana corridor, as well as additional stakeholders, including the townships and all county departments, and beyond the county, the Medeo, the EMA, the Metro. I mean, those are advisory agencies that, so not necessarily in the same category as the towns and the county and the townships that actually have jurisdiction in the corridor. I just wanted to just briefly go over this. You know, we're just beginning to develop a scope of work for this project, so we expect to work on that over the next few months and then be able to, you know, bring something similar to what Tom has provided on the Route 394, or Illinois 394 Route 1 corridor study. So you'll have a little more detail, but this is a $500,000, this is what we do know, it's a $500,000 total grant, and so we will be developing a draft or a scope of work to correspond with that amount. There is a 10% local match required for this grant as well. There is a tentative commitment from the 4 towns in the corridor, Beecher, Peatone, Manhattan, and Wilmington, to participate in the match, in half of the match. So they would be willing to contribute $25,000 as part of the total $50,000 match. And by next month, along with a more detailed scope, we should have letters from each of those towns committing to their participation in the project and also in the match. I wanted to point out here on the handout, there's been some discussion about allocating a part of the total grant to each individual municipality to do, you know, some local planning in relation to the Ileana corridor. So for instance, the Village of Beecher, you know, is looking for funding to update their comprehensive plan. You know, and there's been other ideas generated from the other towns about how they would use that money. That we were talking about $30,000 for each community, but then each town also would be contributing $6,250 towards the match amount as well. And that there would be some review and approval process so that you know, the work that the individual towns are doing does correspond to the work that is being done in the corridor. There's a timeline on here, if you want to review that, you know, a basic outline of what we want to accomplish through this effort. I think you're aware that the state, along with their consultants, have already done a lot of work in the Ileana corridor as part of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 EIS. So this will not be replicating what the state has already done. I think through the state's study, they've been able to establish, you know, sort of the regional benefit of, you know, building the Ileana in Will County. But what we are doing with this local effort is, you know, identifying how this will impact our area and, you know, what we can do in these areas in transportation, land use, economic development to maximize the benefit and to, you know, to identify, you know, the local benefit of the project. So that's the information that I have right now. Again, I hope to come back with some more detail next month, but I would appreciate any input that you may have today or after today. And if you have any questions, I can answer those now too.
Judy?
Alicia, I did want to make sure that we do include all the townships along there, because a lot of times the Village of Peatone has a different idea of what should happen than either Peatone Township or Will Township, which kind of, you know, is the same area. Same thing out in Beecher, Washington Township, in my district, and I'm assuming in District 6, same thing happens. So I really think townships need to be involved, because in the rural area, the township is our local representation, not necessarily the municipality. They don't always have the same plans, so I'd really like to see them involved in this.
I appreciate that comment.
other questions? All right. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Moving on, number 6, request for intergovernmental agreement for electronic and traditional recycling drop-off services with New Lenox Township. Marta? It's been moved. Second, all in favor? Aye. No? The ayes have it. Number 7, request to assign refund request for case 6105-S, the Land Use Committee. Michael, did you want to? That signs to land use. Okay, all right, okay. It was moved? It was moved. And second? Was it second?
Yes.
Oh, it was? Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. Thanks, Mike. Number 8, request for a resolution authorizing county executive. Move and second. All in favor? No? Ayes have it. Number 9, request to transfer the funds to accommodate IMRF audit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Julie. Keep up the good work. Number 10, request for appropriation of grant funds to sheriff's budget. Was it moved? I didn't hear it. It was moved. Second. All in favor? No? Ayes have it. Number 11, request for increase of appropriation to fund update to existing ID card system. I got a question? Got a question, Steve?
Is Paul here? Is that fund that are gonna pay for this? Do they have a separate fund that they're collecting that $35 and is that paying for this?
We generated some revenue stream last year, and we will get that target revenue number this year, so it will be paid for out of that amount.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. All right. It's been moved and second. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 12, request for resolution approving and authorizing submit a substantial amendment to Will County year 2010 to 14 consolidated plan for the inclusion of the Emergency Solution Grant Program. Okay, was it moved? Second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. Request for resolution proposing a substantial amendment to the Will County 5-year consolidation plan, 2010 through 14, for the administration and operation of the Village of Bolingbrook CDBG Entitlement Grant Program for the year beginning October 1/13. Move. Second? What's the second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. Number 14, request for resolution adopting the Will County Plan Year 2013 Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership Grant, and Emergency Solution Grant Program for the period October 1/13 through September 30/14. Move. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. 15, request to declare sheriff vehicle surplus.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. Another one for Rita. Number 16, request to declare sheriff's vehicle surplus. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. Number 17, request to renew telephone maintenance with AT&T under general state contract. Whoa. Before we go there, Rita, did you have a comment on it?
I do. I don't believe we need a resolution for this. This is more of an informational because we're purchasing the maintenance off of state
For
contract.
number 17,
Yes.
we don't need a resolution.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. So we approve it anyway. All right. All right. Thank you, Rita. Number 18, resolution confirming award of contract to PT Farrell Construction, $171,044.50, let June 19, 2013, Wilmington Road District, Section 13-23-000-01, GM, County Board District 6, using road district allotment of the motor fuel tax fund. Moved and second. All in favor? No? Ayes have it. 19, resolution confirming award of contract to Emulous Coat. Emulsicoat? That sounds better. Let June 19, 2013, Peatone Road District, Section 13, County Board District 1, using road district allotment motor fuel tax fund. Moved and second? All right, all in favor? No? The ayes have it. 20, resolution confirming award Board District 1, using road district allotment of Morphew tax fund. Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. Number 21, resolution confirming award of contract for that company again. Last June 19, 2013, Washington Road District. Section 13, County Board District 1, using road district allotment motor fuel tax fund.
So moved for that company.
Thank you. That company moved in second. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 22, resolution providing title commitment report to use by county with Wheatland Title Guarantee Company for improvement of CH 16 Bell Road between 159th Street, 151st Street, Section 99-00147-7, LA County Board District 7, using County Series A, B, or C road bond for RTA fund tax, for funds for $11,000. Moved and second. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 23, resolution providing title commitment reports to use by the county with Wheatland Title Guarantee Company for improvement, CH 74, which is Ledway Road, at the intersection of Spencer Road, Section 13. I don't have to read all these numbers, do I, Beth? Thank you. County Board District 12, you said County Steers A, B, and C road bond or RTA tax fund. Moved and second. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 24, resolution authorizing approval of professional service agreement for right-of-way acquisition services relocation with Land Acquisition Incorporated for several parcels of property along Bell Road at the intersection of 143rd Street, County Section 12, etc. County Board District 7, using County Series A, B, or C road bond RTL tax funds. All right. Move that. What's second? Move that second. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 25, resolution authorizing approval of professional service agreement for design engineering service for roadway and a putative work. Where do you get these big words? Back to that Whitman Appropriation. Larry Road at the intersection of Spencer Road. County Board District 12, using County Series A, B, or C road bond fund or RTA fund. Move. And second? All right. All in favor? No? The ayes have it. 26, monthly works report with Bill Will reports. Information only? It's in your packet. All right. That question? Mr. Busey.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on to replacement hires, I would also, under new business, like to make a request that deals with our sign ordinance. You know, I have an issue in my district on a particular existing sign. Okay. They have been to the land use department. And it could, you know, a variance could be used. My understanding is, though, that the land use department would rather not deal with these issues on a variance basis. They believe it would be better to do a text amendment to the sign ordinance. I know there's a number of issues that have come up over the last years. I don't think we've ever really revisited our sign ordinance. So I would request that we would assign this to the land use department for review. And this was the land use department's preference. And I have talked to Chairman Weigel, and he has no problem with it going over there for review. So if I could ask you to assign that to the land use department.
And I did get that email and the information. I talked to Mr. Weigel this morning about that, and we were going to bring it up under new business, but this is a good place and time to do that. And Chairman Weigel has no problem accepting that under land use.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
So do I need to make a motion to put that over? I'm asking the question.
Oh, okay.
I'll move that.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that it goes to land use committee. All in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. All right. Number 27, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home. And you have that in your packet.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No? The ayes have it. You also have 28,
Let's do the committee reports so we can get the agenda set before you go into executive session.
Well, I don't have any. Everyone was here.
I move the agenda be brought forward.
Yeah, we didn't have, any. Okay. Do we have to make a motion for the committee report? Motion to set the county board executive.
Second.
Move, second, all in favor? No, the ayes have it. Now we need a motion to go into executive session for pending litigation and labor negotiation. I need a motion. Move on, Wally, second. I need a roll